What is happening, guys? Cowboy here, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World Iceborne build video, and today we're taking a look at Elemental Charge Blade. Now, Elemental Charge Blade got quite a buff in Iceborne, whereas before this was only really possible with the QR Charge Blades. Now it is more potent than ever before, and it's a ton of fun to play. So I actually have two separate builds to showcase to you guys. The first is an Element Acceleration build. Now this one takes advantage of the Namiel 2-piece set bonus to help reach your elemental cap. Just for example, with the Charge Blade I'm using, I reach a cap at 670. I am at a base 600 with what I have in there, and so that puts me up to 660 just below the cap. Now the alternative build to this is one that instead aims to run Coalescence. You also gain some extra deco slots with this, and it's actually a really interesting playstyle, but you're reliant on Coalescence. So to go into Coalescence and what that's all about real fast, the main gist is anytime you're afflicted by anything, really, whether it's going to be stun, poison, any of the blights, once you recover from that, you get a fatal buff, 90 element attack power, 18 attack, status build up 15%, and it lasts for 90 seconds as well. So all in all, it's pretty significant. However, this is a very niche playstyle that is going to rely on you getting afflicted by stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, in something like Iceborne, where you have a ton of different enemies that are doing, blights, poison, and all kinds of different crap, it actually works out pretty well. So, anyway, that being said, I do still think the Namiel build is a little bit easier to run, simply because of the fact that it's really, really easy to get element acceleration up, and all in all, it's just going to make your damage more consistent since you're not relying on getting hit with a blight or poison or anything else. Now, before we go straight into the build, one thing I want to touch on is the Savage Axe Slash and usage of it, because one of the most common questions I see people asking is when should I use Savage Axe Slash versus when should I use your SAEDs, essentially. And the thing is, Savage Axe Slash is very potent. Just going into a combo with it here, just real fast, you can see the damage piles up. And on top of that, we're getting a lot of elemental damage out of this. But at the same time, it's also nice to do SAEDs. So the basic gist here is if you're fighting the monster and it's kind of moving around a little bit, you're going to be better off going for Savage Axe Slash. However, if you have a clean opportunity, then you want to do your discharge. And the reason for this is, as you can see, looking at where the ground was black right there, elemental discharges do a very wide burst, whereas with impact charge blades, they're nice and centered and grouped up on the target. With elemental, you have kind of this wide cone, and so if you're going to make sure that that is going to hit your target, ideally you want them on the ground. So Savage Axe Slash when they're moving around, elemental discharges when you got them knocked down. Now to go into the gear, obviously you want to use a charge blade of whatever element you want, but in this case we did a dragon-oriented build. I just really like Dragon Element on the Charge Blades. I think it's a really cool, it's like a darkness fire explosion, basically. So for Dragon, Death Axe, Vel, Spida? I think I'm saying that right. But anyway, there's a couple choices here. You got this, you got the Joe Charge Blade, you got the Odogaron one. This one's just going to give you the fattest amount of Dragon Element as well as a respectable amount of attack. Obviously, Wormsbane Charm, you want an elemental necklace as high as possible, and you can get these up to level 5, though it is going to take materials that are in the Guided Lands. As for our gear, you're going to want to be pulling 2 points of Rime Guard in to gain access to critical element, so for that we run Rime Guard Helm Beta and Rime Guard Braces Beta. While these aren't the best pieces, we're getting a point of flinch free off of this one, and here we have a 4 and a 2 deco slot, as well as some Divine Blessing, so it's worth it for crit element. As for our chest Damascus Mail Beta, this is kind of a mainstay of all Charge Blades builds. We get 2 points in focus, a level 4, level 2, and a level 1 deco slot. And then we have to pick up 2 pieces of Namiel, with Tentacle Coil Beta and Tentacle Greaves Beta. Now, while the skills on these aren't really all that useful for Charge Blade, at the very least they do have respectable decoration slots with a 4-1-1 and a 4-2. And on top of that, the big reason we're taking these is we're getting an extra 60 element, which will help us get up to our cap. With the Charge Blade I'm running in particular, I'm currently at 600 element with 6 dragon on it, and with that extra 60, it puts me up to 660, with the cap for this particular Charge Blade being at 670. So obviously keep that in mind. If if the cap for this was at like 620, I would not recommend running the Namiel stuff, because taking 2 pieces just for an extra 20 element is not going to be worth it. But it's very easy to put on 4 pieces and 6 of your element, and then get element acceleration active, and you can find out what your cap is very, very easily that way. As for the decorations, obviously this is a fairly deco-heavy build, and I do want to point this out. I see a lot of people complaining, like, I don't have decorations for these builds. Like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I'm you know, master rank 70, I'm hunter rank like 200 or something. You got to put in the time. You got to grind if you want to get the good stuff. That's how it works. Anyway, moving on from there, with the 2 slots that are in the Death Axe, that gives me access to 2 tenderizers, so I can pick up level 3 weakness exploit, which is pretty nice. You're obviously going to want a magazine jewel for capacity boost and a single iron wall jewel, because 1 point of guard added onto your red shield is going to give you a block comparable to like a lance block. So it's a very hefty block, allowing you to do guard point SAEDs that much easier. Besides that, we're going to obviously want a charger jewel to get our focus up to level 3, and then it's just looking to maximize our dragon and our critical eye. Now in this case, I have critical eye only at 5. However, if the Wormsbane charm was up at level 5, I could swap out these 2 jewels for more critical eye and take the critical eye up to 7 while still maintaining dragon attack at level 6. So that is something to keep in mind. This build will only get better as you're able to level up your charm. Now, the other thing I want to touch on is there is something called True Elemental Crit that comes from the Silver Rathlos set. That's real late into the Guided Lands. I don't have access to it yet, and that may actually change up a lot of my elemental-oriented builds. If it does, I'll end up uploading separate videos, but it's just something to keep in mind. And the big thing is you got to get your Guided Lands up to level 6, and then get a particular region up to level 6 just to fight this monster. So we're talking like somewhere in the range of 50 to 100 hours into Iceborne before you're even going to have access to it, but I wanted to make you aware of it. For those that want to take a more in-depth look at the Coalescence variant of the build, go. And I really do like this build. Originally, this is what I had planned on showcasing, because getting an extra 90 from Coalescence allows you to basically kind of stay lazy on the dragon attack, like where we're at right now. I don't even need to worry about that, because that 90 is going to boost me on up. But the big downside of this is you're reliant on getting hit by stuff. And in the reality of things, in Iceborne, there's lots of shit coming out, man. Like, you're constantly getting hit with blights, and you're getting hit with poison and fire and everything else. So I'll probably do a separate build for Coalescence a little bit later. But, I did want to showcase this in case people want to mix things up and run something a little bit different. So anyway, now that we've showcased the 2 builds, let's jump on into a hunt and show you what it's capable of. So for our hunt, we're going to be going after a Rathian, which coincidentally is a perfect target for a Coalescence build between all the poison and the fire that it's doing. But let's get buffed on up here. Need to find, there we go. Looks like some stones, maybe? No, it's not stones. Looking on my map, trying to find something I can use to launch him into a wall, but instead he's having a roaring contest with Anjanath right now. So. Alright, that's it. So you're getting too loud for my tastes. Let's just... Oh, here we go, some red pit. Come here. Oh, Lord. Here, go say hi to the tree. Too early on that. If I can get him to come over here, dude. I'm a little bit closer, come on. The sleep toad wants to say hello to you. Oh shit, Yammer's got him. Do, 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 do. Oh! I hate that. That is the worst feeling. And you just barely don't get it. Like monster runs on up to the wall and then is like, ah, nah, I don't feel like hitting my head today. One thing I don't like about this charge blade is this thing eats sharpness alive. But I was actually in testing, I almost thought about going with the auto charge blade because it has a pretty hefty amount of sharpness. But if you were to like take a, it doesn't need handicraft at all, but what's interesting is if you take a screenshot of like say the auto sharpness and then line it up next to the Val sharpness, it's actually almost identical. Like it looks like there's a lot more, but the amount of white that you're getting is almost the same on both. Now, stop that. This also devours sharpness, as you can see, but God, look at that damage. Pancrathian is actually farming him up for the next Charge Blade build. I still want to showcase an impact build because people still obviously use it, but ah, damn it. The other Shamos got jealous that I wasn't going to ride them. Tell you what, this guy just does not want to stay in any one place. There's a couple other things I was actually interested in trying to work into this build, something like power prolonger maybe. But I think once I gain access to the like true elemental crit stuff, I think we'll... Are you really? Big smash! I don't think I've ever seen a Gargantuan that is this evasive. Seriously, it's going to be a 15-minute hunt just because this little shit can't pick a spot to stay. Wait, oh, hang on. Looks like a drop down there. Come on, Stamina Surge. I don't even like having you. At least be useful for me here. Yeah, we're fully charged up this time. Yeah, bonk your head. Do I not have my traps? I do. Hey, come here. That's a good girl. And that's a capped Rathian. So not the most dangerous of targets in the grand scheme of Master Rank, but to be frank with you guys, I'm kind of a potato with Charge Blade, so didn't want to go after anything too crazy with it. But I mean, definitely a very fun play style. Like, Savage X has had me playing Charge Blade more. I don't see myself making one for every element, but for big old dragons, it's a lot of fun to run with. So anyway, gonna wrap this one on up. Oh, baby, look at that. A mantle and a ruby. Oh, God, it's that content creator RNG. As for what to expect next, the Lance build is done. So we have Lance up on deck. Following that, got a bow build for you guys, elemental bow. And then a new switch axe and new charge blade build as well. So keep your eyes out for that. So anyway, thanks for coming on by. Appreciate the support on these videos. As always, let me know your thoughts below, and I'll catch y'all next time.